All right, so at this point, I think it's a good time for us to take that break that we talked about, just like 5 minutes. And I'm going to go collect my thoughts, think about everything that we've discussed so far, and then come with some suggestions for how we might move forward. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
And then during that time, maybe you guys could also think about something you might want to try, each of you, between now and the next session that can build on the progress we've seen so far.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll be right back.
What shall we?
Yeah.
Good one.
All right, so thank you for giving me that time to think about our conversation. I wrote down what are some things that I want to share, some things I've noticed, and some suggestions, just so that I can remember everything I want to say. First of all, I just want to congratulate both of you on coming back to your second session. Yeah, that's really great, and it shows that you're both committed to working on this and that you really care about each other. I can see it even in the way you're turned towards each other, your body language. So I'm really impressed by the work that you guys are doing, how much you both are really committed to this, and also the fact that you've both seen progress. So I know, Maggie, I think last week you said you were at, was it a 3? And this week on the scale you put yourself at a 5. Okay, yeah, so already seeing a little bit of movement based on those communication concerns you identified. And then, Tina, you also saw similar progress, right? What were your...
Last week I was at a 2, and I'm also at a 5.
Right, yeah, so not only are you both seeing some movement, but you're also on the same page. And I think that's just really reflected in what you've told me about the past week. I know we talked a lot about trying to identify the different styles of communication you both have, because I think, Maggie, you really appreciate that quality time, is that right? Yeah.
It's really important to me to have time with Tina on our own, where she's not plugged into what's going on at work. It's really important.
Mm-hmm. And kind of that acts of service component too.
Yeah, it's nice just to, times, like after we made dinner this week, when you were like, why don't you go ahead and draw a bath for us, and I'll do the dishes. Something like that it was so meaningful to me, so important to me. And I know that maybe you didn't feel like it was a big deal, but I was walking to the bathroom to go draw a bath, and I was just thinking, oh my gosh, that's so important, and it was so helpful.
Yeah. See, for me, it didn't really feel like that big of a deal, but hearing that from her is that feels really good to me, to listen to her be like, this is what is helpful for me, and this is what made her feel good in that moment.
Yeah.
And I can do that if she just tells me.
Mm-hmm.
I have to communicate.
Right, so it sounds like you guys are both really getting in tune with each other and starting to see how your needs are different, and the way you communicate your love and care is different, but it really works together. So you coming home, working with her to make dinner, that really meant something to her. Doing the dishes so she could take a bath, that was something that she really appreciated. And then you went ahead and told her that, and that's something that's really important for Tina. So you guys are working beautifully as a team, and I think you're right on the right track. So yeah, I agree that you've made a lot of progress just in the time that I've been meeting with you, on your communication. You're affirming each other, and I think it'll be great for the two of you to continue that progress. So I want to move to the suggestions, but first, why don't you two share what you came up with during the break? Who wants to start?
I can.
Okay.
I think that, like we've been talking about, this past week having dinner together was a really great night for us,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that for me, getting home and being at home to make dinner with Maggie and spend that time together and actually be be present and like leave work at work and all that. I think that would be really important for me to start doing like more intentionally over the next week and moving forward.
I noticed that it was really important for Tina for me to communicate the way that I was feeling about the different things that she was doing in order to make an effort in our relationship. And Tina really needs me to communicate more, and I can do that. So what I want to work on is maybe just sharing more, like verbally, like how I'm feeling and what I think about what she's doing to show up for our relationship, and communicating my love to her more frequently. It's really important, I think.
Okay, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. It sounds like both of you really built on what has worked so far. So you noticed the dinner thing, you noticed that made a difference, and you're wanting to kind of continue that by keeping that time free, coming home, and spending that time with her when you can. And you're also building on what you've done really well this week, which is just being more verbal about those feelings that you're having, the things that mean something to you, like conveying that to her, but also just showing her appreciation and your love. So that's right in line with what I came up with as well. So I think we're definitely all on the same page. I suggest continuing what we talked about last week, paying attention to what works, which you've both been doing, and I appreciate that so much. And just, noticing when something's different, why it's working, and bringing that to the session. I think we can just keep that up, keep noticing specifically what the other person is doing that you feel really makes a difference and helps you feel more affirmed in the relationship. And then I also had an idea that maybe between now and the next session, each of you could pick a day, a random day, and don't tell the other person, but just try to do something nice for them that you think would be in line with kind of these needs that we've identified, and that would build off of what you've been doing so far. So it could be anything, whatever comes to mind that you feel like could kind of change things up, could make a positive difference. What do you guys think?
Oh, I've got some ideas already.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I think we could do that. So just like picking a day and doing something nice for Maggie that I think she would appreciate.
Exactly. Yeah. And then really paying attention to how you feel and also how you see your partner reacting. Okay. But try not to tell them beforehand what you're going to do or anything, because that's kind of part of the process, and then we can all talk about it in the session next week.
Sounds good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
So, do you want to check the schedule, and we'll get you guys on the books for next week?
Sounds great.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.